Unit 3. We're going to do part 1 of 3.4, and this is on sigma notation. So the sigma notation is a short way of writing add the following numbers where the numbers form a pattern. So you know how in maths we have short ways of writing. 3 times 4 is a short way of writing 4 plus 4 plus 4. So sigma is another short way of writing something. So it is the Greek capital letter. And let's first write it and then explain what it all means. Let's just first read it. So this is sigma 3 of 3i, where I goes from 1 to 5. So that is the first value of I. You don't put an I at the top again. You now know it's an I. You know that is the last value. This thing says add them. And you're going to sub your values into I. And you must add them. So, there are different questions we can ask. If I say evaluate, then I'm saying find the value of. Do the whole sum, find the value of. So we're going to take exactly that one that we had there. You would put equal to. You would start by putting a 1 in the place of the I. Then, very important, write plus. Then go back. You use I again, but you make it 1 more than it was. Plus again. Next value of I, and you keep making I 1 more, always 1 more, until you get to the last one. Then you stop. So now you would work that out, 3 plus 6 plus 9, etc. So evaluate, you would end up with adding them all. Right, it doesn't have to start at 1 and it doesn't have to be an I. So in this case, k starts from 3 and it goes up to 6 and it is 1 plus k squared. Right, so I would write 1 plus, my first value is a 3, plus 1 plus 4 squared, plus 1 plus 5 squared, plus 1 plus 6 squared. And again, you would work out all these numbers, add them together. If it says evaluate, you have to end up with a final answer. But sometimes it doesn't say evaluate, it just says expand. So expand just says, you don't need to give me the final answer, just write it out. So let's look at this one. P goes from 1 to 4, of minus 1 to the power of P times P squared. So every P gets this value, minus 1 to the power of 1 times 1 squared, plus, then it gets 1 more, minus 1 to the value of 2 times 2 squared, plus minus 1 to the 3 times 3 squared, plus minus 1 to the 4 times 4 squared. Right, expand only. I would just simplify these first. Negative 1 to the 1 is a negative 1 times 1, so that is a negative 1. But remember, negative 1 squared is positive 1 times 4. So it becomes plus 4. Next one, negative 9. Next one, positive 16. But again, if you put them in correctly into your calculator, you should get the right answers. Just do not leave out the brackets. Okay, if it said expand only, that's where we stop. We don't need to now actually add them. Let's do one more from, let's do how many terms. How many terms? Again, you've got to go back to 2.1 to remind yourself what are terms. Terms are separated by pluses and minuses. So every time you've done one value of p or whatever, then you've done one term. So here is one where I starts at 2 and it goes up to 10 and it's just on I. If they only ask how many terms, they're not asking me to expand it. So here's your rule. How many terms are there? Take your top value, subtract your bottom value, add 1. So there are 9 terms. Let's do another one. Say k starts from 3 and it goes to an unknown value n. You would still use your rule. Top 1 minus bottom 1 plus 1. Always plus 1. That equals n minus 2 terms. Right, that's the first part of our sigma notation.